I'm Abir MUKHERJEE and I am a writer of crime fiction. That's a good question. How did I become an author? I got bored being in finance and I always wanted to write, but I never had the courage. I would write 5,000 words and then I would read those 5,000 words and I would think, this is rubbish. And I would put it in a drawer, I would throw it in the bin. But then when I got a bit older, I thought, I was lucky I saw a competition in a newspaper in Britain and they wanted to find new crime writers. And all they wanted was the first 5,000 words of a book and a 2-page synopsis on the rest. So I got my 5,000 words out of the bin, I tidied it up and I sent it to the publishers. And 3 months later, they said, congratulations, out of 500 people, you have won and we're going to publish your novel. Except I didn't have a novel, I just had these 5,000 rubbish words. And the rest, as they say, is history. I grew up in Scotland. My father and mother from India, they looked at a map and said, what's the coldest, wettest place I can raise a family? And so I was born in Scotland. And in Scotland we have this tradition of tartan noir, where the crime novel is not just about telling a wonderful story, it is also a vehicle for social commentary. So I grew up reading Ian Rankin, Val McDermid, William McIlvanney. So when it came to my turn to write, when I became a writer, I wanted to talk about the issues of the British colonialism in India. I wanted to talk about serious issues, but I wanted people to read the book. It's very difficult to get people to read things they don't want to read. So if you want to teach the British about their own history, you have to sugarcoat the pill. So you have to wrap it in a story, and you have to wrap it in a good story. And the best stories are crime stories for me. The last book that I finished writing is called The Shadows of Men. It is the 5th in the Wyndham and Banerjee series, and it is set in 1923, and it is a time of great violence between Hindus and Muslims. And I wrote it because I'm very concerned about what is happening today in India with the rise of a Hindu fundamentalist government. It seems to me that the values on which India was founded, the secular values of peace and harmony and tolerance, they are under threat. So the book is really my allegory on what's happening today, but with dead bodies along the way. That's a very good question. I gave up finance after 20 years to write books, and I can honestly tell you, it's been a difficult journey. It took me 5 years to give up. Gradually I gave up and now I'm a full-time writer. But it's the best decision of my life. Other than marrying my wife, I have to say. It is the best decision of my life. I wake up smiling. I get to come to wonderful places like Pau in France to meet wonderful people. And I can't say there has been a day when I've regretted it. I describe it like swimming. For 20 years I swam against the tide. And then when I became a writer, it's like swimming with the tide. It's like everything feels much more natural and I'm happier for it. Well, I have 2 answers for that. The first book that I didn't write, that I wish I had written, probably be Harry Potter, the whole Harry Potter series, because then, I'd be very rich. But if you're asking me the book I wanted to write, or the book that has most impact on me, I would say 1984 by George Orwell, which I just think, I have never read a book like it. I read it every year or every 2 years. It's one of the few books that I come back to. And I think even now, 50, 60, 70 years after it's first written, it's still relevant to our world. It's relevant to the issues of truth and untruth and power and the corruption that comes with power. So I love it. I wish I had the genius to write that book.